green light check. Track 1, 1035, 1035, July 19, 2025. To the CP 89528952 south of UTH. Ottumwa, south of UTH, yard limit to the south of
All right, folks, welcome to the stream. We'll get our introductions going here shortly. But first, we've got our first train coming in from the west going east, and I do believe that this is the local train 664. We'll see what's on it. Well, I started the stream just about right at the perfect time. So this is Bobby Harvey, live at the Ottumwa station here in downtown Ottumwa, Iowa. As we start things off tonight, kind of with a cold open with BNSF's local freight train, eastbound 664, which has just cleared the station platform and is now heading east. I'm guessing they're going to be crossing from Main 1 to 2 down there at the yard to do their switching work in the small BNSF Ottumwa yard. Pretty slick dispatching, allowing BNSF to allow that train to slip in right before Amtrak. So how's the video look tonight, guys? Right at the beginning of the stream, it said it was unable to connect, and then it connected. So does everything look okay on you guys' end? If so, good deal. So that's kind of why at the beginning I moved down one, because I don't know where I was. I just wasn't getting as well of a signal. But if everything looks good, yep, Mark says it's good and clear, so we're good. So I don't know what happened there, but I moved down one platform column just to make sure that we weren't in some sort of miniature little dead zone, which I know that's happened before. That one stream that I did earlier this year cut out for whatever reason, and I couldn't get it back, which is unusual for YouTube live streams, because usually if it says unable to connect and you hit reconnect, it'll go back. But that one stream I didn't, so I'm always kind of worried when I see that happen that something might go wrong. But if everything looks clear now, we are probably okay. And yep, James is tuning in from Ohio, one of our regular viewers here on the stream. Welcome, James. Says video looks good here, so good. So for those of you just joining us, I have a few of you filing in now. We started off things pretty abruptly. Started the stream just a tad later than I thought I was going to start it, but we haven't missed anything. Amtrak is still on its way, running just a few minutes late. They're about 10 minutes late out of Mount Pleasant, so we're looking at about 7 o'clock for the train's arrival here in Ottumwa. So not much longer. But as we just saw, for those of you that just tuned in, go ahead and rewind the tape here a few minutes. And we just saw BNSF's local train 664 slide on through. Had a pretty nice lash up of locomotives. A former Santa Fe -9 in the lead, a GP60B as the second engine, and another, I think it was a standard cab GP38 or something along those lines. as the third unit. Maybe there were 4 engines. I don't really remember. I was just trying to get my bearings for just starting the stream. So what you hear in the background is I'm pretty sure it is a northbound CPKC train. I guess BNSF is letting it go across before Amtrak. I guess they don't have Amtrak lined through the diamond yet. So I might pan over there really quick and allow you guys to see this train before Amtrak gets here. If we can see it. We might not be able to see a whole lot of it. But way down there, about a mile, not quite a mile, west of us is BNSF's junction with the CPKC in West Ottumwa. Give or take at milepost 281 on the BNSF Ottumwa subdivision. And video is kind of grainy, but it's what we can see of the CPKC from this vantage point. And go ahead and level the camera really quick here. Is pretty much in between that warning sign for passengers to not go past that point on the platform right there, and the whistle sign, which is facing eastbound traffic. Pretty much right in there, we'll be able to see the CPKC movements from this vantage point. So we won't be able to see much of it, but I do hear him whistling, so I think there was a northbound train getting something, getting a signal or going up the hill. The signal is red, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. The signal is red. But we'll kind of watch our back here just to make sure that Amtrak doesn't slide into the station while we're looking west. And I don't know, that might actually be a southbound train too, because I heard a southbound train. When I first started the stream, there was a southbound train getting a warrant. So that might actually be a southbound. Nope, it's a northbound. They're whistling for Gateway Drive now on the CPKC. Coincidentally, the crossing right down there on BNSF is also on Gateway Drive. Gateway Drive kind of curves and goes west and then ends and crosses the CPKC. So there's 2 different Gateway Drive crossings. Okay, let's see if we can see what this is. I'll try and look with the naked eye, see if I can. Yeah, it's like a Kansas City Southern leader. And standard cab CP engine, train going north. Looks like auto racks. Might be train 251 or 261. I think it's interesting that BNSF would let that train go first before Amtrak, but it makes sense though, because Amtrak is going to be doing their station work. By the time they're done, that train will have cleared. So it makes sense for them to go ahead and let that train go. But usually the dispatcher has Amtrak lined up long before Amtrak gets here. And of course, once they've lined a movement, no CPKC trains can pass until that train is cleared. But obviously they haven't done that tonight. And probably the reason they haven't is because 664 came through. So I suppose the dispatcher figured that they would just go ahead and let that train get across before Amtrak, since they didn't have it lined yet already for 664. So I haven't heard any conversations on the radio from the 664 crew, so I don't know if they had any work in Ottumwa tonight or not. But yep, that train we can see down there on the way in the distance, that is a northbound CPKC freight train. I think there's some more cars in it besides auto racks, so it's probably a 251 or 261. I do know sometimes they have auto rack trains, and I think they were numbered in the 200s years ago, but of course with the merger, the numbers on these trains changed. And there's more trains now on the CPKC than there were. Many more trains. Probably almost twice as many as there were just a couple years ago. CPKC is 2 years old now as a railroad. It was formed in the middle of April 2023. Last year was the first anniversary of CPKC, and of course their locomotive, Canadian Pacific 2816, did a incredible 3-country tour from Canada through the US to Mexico and back last year to celebrate the first anniversary of CPKC. And believe it or not, that tour, the majority of it, was a year ago already. They got to see the train come through here on the line that freight train is going on now. It's the first steam locomotive that's come through here in almost 20 years. Before that, you got to go back to 2005 or 2006. The last time a steam engine came through here, which was also on, at that point, was the Soo line. Or excuse me, the I&M Rail Link. Didn't become Iowa-Chicago. Well, it was Iowa-Chicago and Eastern by then, because it was 2005. IC&E came about in 2003, I think. Believe it or not, that railroad only lasted for about 5 years, and CP bought them back. Yep, it's a pretty hefty train. So we are waiting for Amtrak. I suppose they'll be here soon. Yep, there's people on the platform. I think the engineer's on the platform as well, so they're going to be coming pretty quick. So we're going to watch our back just to make sure that we don't miss them approaching while we watch this train go across. Obviously, Amtrak will not be leaving the station until this train clears, but I'm sure that this train will be gone and perfectly in the clear by the time Amtrak is ready to go. So we've only been on for 12 minutes, and we've already gotten 2 trains. Amtrak will be our 3rd train of the night. It's always nice when you can get a bunch of action in a very short period of time. And it's more difficult to do these days. There aren't as many trains. There's more longer trains, fewer trains. So, whoa! All right, thank you, Mark. Super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Always kind of shocked when those come in, but thank you, Mark. It's always very generous of you. I really appreciate that. So last week I didn't do a live stream, and let's see, what week was that? The week it wasn't the weekend of July 4th, but what was I doing? Well, I know what I was doing. In my spare time, I have been working pretty steadily on my train layout in my new train room in our new house. And I was actually working on it a little today, in fact, getting the tops on the tables screwed down, the plywood tops for the tables. I'm getting very close to starting to lay some track tentatively and get it all marked out and start wiring. I'm about ready to start. Yeah, I think that was the end of the train. So we'll go ahead and pan the camera around and get ready for Amtrak. I am about ready to start filming some of my layout progress. Be able to share that with you guys here pretty soon. Just wanted to make the layout room a little presentable, and it's about there. So I get the tables up, I'll probably do some kind of a video about the progress of the layout. So I also worked a little bit last weekend too, so didn't have as much time, and I wanted to use the time that I had last weekend for working on the layout, and I managed to get quite a bit done. So that's what I was doing last week. So I didn't do a stream. I think I was doing something else too. I don't remember. I'll think of it. But yep, so we're back down here now, waiting for Amtrak. We're about 15 minutes in, and we're waiting for the train. See, there's a lot more viewers right now, so as there were in the beginning of the stream, so usually that's a pretty good indicator that Amtrak's getting close. And actually, a train just commented at 6:59 that train 5, which is the westbound Zephyr, was by agency, so they are almost here. It's turned out to be a nice night weather-wise. Now, the beginning of the day was very stormy, very stormy. We had one storm come through early this morning, and it made a lot of noise and heavy rain for probably about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and then it was gone. And then we had another storm come through, maybe an hour or so later. It was a decent amount of rain. But as you can see, this evening, it is cleared off. It's very hot, humid, and it's a very nice night. Now, for those of you that might be paying attention to news in northern Iowa, tomorrow is the beginning of the bicycle ride RAGBRAI here in Iowa. The great bicycle ride that the Des Moines Register has sponsored for many years is beginning tomorrow in Orange City, Iowa, which is north of Sioux City. My mother is actually riding RAGBRAI this year, so I'll be getting some updates from her progress along the way. And the RAGBRAI route this year is pretty much northern Iowa. One notable railroad town they're going to be going through is Ottumwa. It's going to be one of the overnight stops. Ottumwa, of course, is the old headquarters of the former Chicago Great Western Railroad, and they have a little museum there with some trains and the old tower and things. And the ride this year will end in Guttenberg, Iowa. About a week from today, in fact. And some of the route is going to be going into Minnesota this year. It's for a few miles. That'll be kind of interesting. First time they've ever done that. Yeah, Mark says up in the Alps of Iowa. Yeah. I don't think I don't know if they'll be getting into what they call the driftless area, which is kind of where Decorah is. That's a very different part of Iowa. Almost mountainous in a way. They call it driftless because it was back in the Ice Age. It was a spot that the glaciers missed when the Ice Age happened, and all the big glaciers melted and pretty much smoothed out the Midwest into the prairie that we know it as today. For whatever reason, those glaciers missed that part of Iowa, and so that's why they call it the driftless area, because it is pretty much the way it was before the glaciers melted in the Ice Age. I think that's why they call it that. It's a very different part of Iowa. It's something you would not expect to be in Iowa. It's a very beautiful area. All right, here comes the train, and our train, the California Zephyr, is arriving. PSA, folks, stay behind the line. Get behind the line. Okay. Always stay behind the line, folks. Here we go. And the train has arrived. Number 78. Engines are back to back tonight. Leader number 146. Now, I think I mentioned in the streams before how it's nice to hear those old bells, the old EMD style bells instead of the GE. Well, I'm pretty sure that that bell on number 146 is one of those older EMD style bells, like what you would hear on the old F40 locomotives, which is pretty cool to hear. Nice that there are still some of those around. Kind of wonder if it was off of an F40 and they just had parts lying around and replaced the bell with and it's somewhat unusual to see these engines back to back these days. Change of engineers is complete. Now, one thing that's really nice to see now in summertime is finally we have a train of decent size. The consist has enlarged significantly for the summer months. There are 4 sleeping cars, transition sleeper and 3 regular sleepers, and 3 coaches, which is the original normal consist before COVID plus 1. So it's a pretty decent sized consist today, and I'm glad that the Zephyr finally has gotten some extra cars on it again. Means that business is good. Guarantee you the train is sold out. That's the thing, if you're going to ride on Amtrak, you need to get your tickets weeks, sometimes months in advance, especially this time of year. The trains all ride sold out. That's good. It's too bad that Amtrak doesn't have more equipment that they can add to these trains. They'd have even more business. That's the thing. The only reason the trains are sold out is because Amtrak only has so much equipment right now. If they had more equipment, they'd be able to add more cars and get a little more business. But I'm just glad they're getting the business that they are. The old notion that nobody rides trains, it is false. A lot of people ride the train for many different reasons. And I'm sure that 99% of the people that are riding the train tonight are not train enthusiasts. They're just riding the train because they prefer train travel, or maybe they're afraid of flying, or maybe they just enjoy not having to drive and getting there a little faster than driving. Train is a lot faster than driving. All aboard! The warning whistle. Ottumwa is an extended stop for the crew change and for a fresh air stop. Passengers have the option to get out and stretch their legs, smoke a cigarette if you do that sort of thing. So they blow the whistle to get everybody back on so they can get going. Train's just running a little late tonight. I'm sure they're trying to make up some time. And they'll be able to do it. They keep up the way they're going now. Still some people milling about down there. I wonder if that's why the engineer blew the horn again. Sounds good though. The only time you hear the trains blow the whistle on BNSF through here now is when Amtrak's in the station. Here they go. Locomotives 146 and 78, the baggage car, Viewliner 2. It's a great sounding bell. There's a transition sleeper. And our 3 sleeping cars, normal sleeping cars. Superliner 2 in the mix there. Running brake test. The dining car. Sightseer lounge car. And the coaches. Two coach baggage cars tonight. There we go. Amtrak's California Zephyr is now clear of the station here in Ottumwa, heading west. Next stop, Osceola, Iowa, in about an hour, followed by Creston, Omaha, Lincoln. All points west. So, as usual, we're about at the 30-minute mark. We're going to keep things rolling for another 15 minutes or so just to make sure we don't see any more train activity. We've already seen 3 trains tonight, believe it or not. Amtrak was train number 3 in order. The actual number of the train, of course, is Amtrak 5. And the eastbound Zephyr is number 6. Now, I was talking to the engineer that got on the train tonight real briefly. Somebody actually showed him one of my previous live streams. It was the live stream where we were talking about hearing the bell on the radio. And I think we were discussing why sometimes you hear it and sometimes you don't hear it. Well, he told me the reason, and it makes perfect sense, but it's something I never thought about until now. The times you hear the bell on the radio is when they have... excuse me, is when they have the windows open on the locomotive. That's when you can hear the bell more. And it makes perfect sense. Obviously, if you got the windows open, you can hear more of the ambient sounds outside of the train. So that's when you're able to hear the bell on the radio when the train crew is talking to the dispatcher or the conductor on the train or what have you. That's why you can hear it. And why sometimes you can't hear it. It's because they've got the windows either open or closed. So again, it makes perfect sense. Just I never thought about that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So, Amtrak has just cleared the station. We're going to keep things rolling for another 15 minutes or so. Just make sure that there isn't anything else coming. My guess is there probably isn't, but you never know. It's a nice night. So we'll go ahead and pan the camera back around here so you can get a view of the station. We wrap things up for the night and or wait for another train if there are any. We'll go back up to the going through the chat here to discuss some things with you guys. Matthew Bernstein says he's going to be taking Amtrak back home in a couple of weeks from Jefferson City to Kansas City. It's on the Missouri River Runner route on Amtrak. Never ridden that train, but sounds like a very scenic train to ride. I've actually only seen that train a handful of times. Last time I was really down there in Missouri rail fanning, you got to go all the way back to 2010 when the Union Pacific Challenger locomotive 3985 went through there. Pretty sure it was the last time it did. I got a picture of the Missouri River Runner coming into Sedalia, Missouri. And I've seen those trains a few times along our travels in St. Louis. You go by the station when you're on the Metrolink light rail trains. You can see the trains in the station. And been to a few games at baseball games at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And you can actually see some of the trains coming and going from the stadium. It's kind of overlooking the riverfront and some of the bridges coming off of the Mississippi River. And you can get a pretty good view of the trains coming off of the river and going by kind of that elevated section of track leading down to the station in St. Louis. But other than that, I really haven't seen the Missouri River Runners hardly at all. Be a neat train to go down and ride sometime. Yep. Ken says, from 703, says there's going to be another storm tonight, perhaps. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. We were actually under a severe thunderstorm watch earlier today. Of course, that expired. Now I think we're under a flood watch, so probably means we might be getting more rain tonight. Makes sense. I mowed the grass yesterday. Whenever I mow the grass and get the yard all nice and mowed, the next day it rains. Every time. Glad I got it done, though. Now, Mark asks a good question here. He says, I wonder why the crew between Omaha and Denver are two-man crews. I only saw the one hop off of the engine. I wonder if they have two engineers between Lincoln and Denver. And I think the reason for that might be that the district's just a little longer. I think Amtrak likes to keep the runs under, I think it's like 7 hours or so with one engineer in the cab. And if the run between crew bases is longer than that, then there'll be two engineers. So they can kind of alternate, take turns to run the train. So they're fully aware, fully rested, and can safely operate the train. And, you know, it's just another set of eyes up there when the conductor on the passenger trains is back in the train instead of in the locomotive itself like they would be on a freight train. It's just always nice to have another set of eyes up there. There are, on the Southwest Chief, there are some crew districts that are also that way out west. I think one of them is La Junta to Albuquerque, I think, is one district where there are 2 engineers in the cab. Not sure about that, but I think that might be the case. About another 10 more minutes or so, and we'll wrap things up for the night. It'll be kind of a shorter stream tonight, but we'll keep it rolling for another 10 minutes to make sure that we have not missed any action in the Ottumwa area. But considering that we got 3 trains, one right after the other, I probably doubt we'll see anything else, but you never know. Signals are out in both directions. Now, if you remember my last stream a couple weeks ago, this happened, and then right before I ended the stream, the signals lit up and both eastbound and westbound tracks had trains coming on them at the same time. And the first train had cleared agency, and so I thought, well, we'll just wait and see that train, and we did. And then I just assumed that the eastbound was still a long ways away, and I wasn't really worried about it. And as soon as the westbound cleared, the eastbound came through the station. So we got to see both trains, ending the stream last time. But, that was a much later stream than normal because Amtrak was running late, and it was already pretty much dark when those trains went through. Yeah, Mark says that he follows Mike Jensen on YouTube, and he records very religiously the Amtrak station stops of the California Zephyr in Fort Morgan. I think a lot of times he just gets the westbound train. I don't know if he gets the eastbound, but he might occasionally, but I think he almost always gets the westbound train early in the morning at Fort Morgan. If the train's running on time, it's an early morning train in Fort Morgan. It's the stop right before Denver, about an hour or so out from Denver. And he films almost daily the train pulling in and departing, kind of like what I do here on the live streams. Just pulling in and does the station work, and then off it goes. And it really wasn't until this year that I really started filming Amtrak the way I've been doing this year. We're just pretty much planting ourselves in one place on the platform and just letting the action go by around us, which is kind of nice, especially when you're doing these live streams. So you don't see all of the, crazy camera work in between getting from one spot to the next. But eventually I would like to start doing those live streams like I did in past years, where I drive around town and get whatever trains we can get in about an hour and a half's worth of time. But it's kind of nice to just sit here and get Amtrak too. A lot of you guys look forward to seeing Amtrak. So do I. So it's kind of nice to just be down here and get the train. It is very hot and humid tonight. Not necessarily really hot, but it's very, very humid. Yep. Mark confirms that Mike Jensen, he gets 6 if they're running late, and he records and uploads daily. That'd be really neat to do. Obviously, you need a lot of time to be able to do that, though. So we've got about 5 minutes left. Obviously, upcoming video, the next feature-length rail fanning full-length production that I'll be putting on the channel will be the 2025 Old Threshers reunion, which, believe it or not, is just a little over a month away. In fact, I think today is 40 days from the start of the Old Threshers reunion for this year. It's amazing, but it's coming up very fast. So that will be the next video that I put out, next feature-length, fully produced video. Obviously, there'll be plenty more live streams and probably some smaller videos in between now and then. But that'll be my next longer video that I produce. Obviously, Old Threshers hasn't happened yet, so I'll be getting all my footage for Old Threshers this year, and then after that, making the video and uploading it, hopefully before the end of the year, so I can kind of get in a groove of getting the Old Threshers video done and uploaded before the end of the year, and not always playing catch up the following year like I have been doing several years past. And the next video after that, well, we'll have to see. Most likely it'll be the California Zephyr video that I've had planned for many years. I have all the footage for it, and I've started kind of compiling footage to use in the program. But that's about as far as I've gotten so far. But at this point, I'm not going to really worry about editing anything or starting to work on it really until after Old Threshers. Because at this point, I'm not going to have hardly any time to work on it before Old Threshers gets here, and I really want to get that video out sooner than I have in years past. So I'll probably work on that afterwards. We'll have to see. There's a lot of videos I could do between now and then. I've also entertained the idea of doing some different videos that might foray away from trains somewhat, more traveling videos, kind of vlogging sort of videos on our summertime travels that we do. Not sure how many of those I will actually get done this year, but you never know. We'll see what I can do. Obviously, the videos of my train layout in the train room in our new house, which is coming along nicely. I will be making some videos of that, probably starting to film more videos of my O-gauge trains and collections. Lionel Trains actually released a miniature, like a mini catalog a few days ago, and I'm probably going to start doing some videos about the catalog releases and my opinion on, the different products and stuff that they offer. Those videos tend to be pretty popular, and a lot of people like to hear the opinions of others on what products may or may not be good, and what products are priced good or overpriced, and discussion in that nature. It's always kind of interesting, so might start doing some of those videos related to O-gauge trains as well. Now, with that, we are approaching the 45-minute mark. It's been about 15 minutes since Amtrak's departure. And like I said, this was a much smaller live stream than in the past, but I don't think there's probably going to be much more action, because we already saw 3 trains. We saw a BNSF 664, the local train. We saw a CPKC train from afar, and of course, the train of the night, which is always Amtrak's California Zephyr. So I don't think there'll be anything else tonight that we will probably miss in the time that we're going to be down here. I'll check one more time, though. Signals are dark in both directions. Yeah, Ken comments that they'll run more trains tonight when it is cooler. And it seems like more often than not, especially today, with fewer trains, it seems like more of them run at night than during the day sometimes. Just don't know why that is, but just seems to be the case a lot of times. But that's okay. We got a few trains tonight, along with Amtrak, so it's a pretty good night. I do want to let you guys know that next week I will not be doing a live stream, because we'll be very busy next weekend. I'll let you guys know what we did after we did it. I might take some video to compile into a vlog video of some kind. So just be on the lookout for that. But I will not be doing a live stream next week, but I will be letting you guys know what's going on, and we will shoot for the weekend after next for the next weekend live stream from here in Ottumwa. So with that, we are going to go ahead and wrap things up for the night. I'd like to thank all the guys guys and gals that tuned in tonight to see the stream and see the trains. And as I said just a few moments ago, I will not be doing a live stream next weekend, so we will shoot for the weekend after next to do another one. But I will let you guys know what's going on next weekend after we've done it, and hopefully take some video to share with you guys later on this month. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for the night. As always, be on the lookout for the archive of this video once it's done rendering. Go ahead and put some timestamps in there and re-edit some of the descriptions so you guys can jump through it quickly. The archive will be up to watch immediately after I end the stream. It might not be in best quality because it'll still be rendering, but you'll be able to go back and watch anything you missed after the stream ends. And then obviously, about 12 hours or so from now, the archive will be fully rendered. You'll be able to go back and watch that as well. So with that, we are going to wrap things up for the night, and we will see you all in a couple weeks, and maybe some normal video uploads before then as well. With that, this is Bobby Harvey from Ottumwa. We will see you next time. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good night. So long, everyone.